So the next project is this 135. It has a Lake in front crankshaft seal, and the front axle is a little bit wibbly wobbly on it. So I already replaced the hub, you'll probably see that in the videos, and bearings, because that was cracked, and I've done a little bit of work on it, small little bits here and there. So I just took off the exhaust because the door is a bit low. So what I've got to start doing now is taking off bodywork, radiator, fan belt and all of that, and get it stripped down, probably the water pump as well, and then start pulling out the front axle. We have some parts here for the kit there to do up the front axle, bushings, bearings, bushings, and pin and shims there. So I suppose we'll make a crack at it now and get this lovely bonnet off. It's really good, Nick, it's lovely. Get that off, and then we'll come back and we see what's underneath it. So fast forward on there, about an hour and a half later, we're down to this, around this far now. I do have to take out this bolt here. It's a grub screw. I have a new one over here. That's designed to keep that still and let the axle turn on it. And there's the little bolt there and this little tab there. So it could be fun trying to get him out, but I have left him soaking there for a good while in the good old WD, and we'll see. I had to take off one of these arms here because this was not coming out, so rather than bait it too much, I said I'd take it off there. So the next job is to try and see if we can get this out, see what sort of shape it's in. So on my piece of yoga, Nisha was coming this far there, so after a bit of it cleaning up there, she's just, you can see what we're working with now. I managed to tap off the tablets on that, so we'll try them for a loosening, and if they come out, we're away, we're on the pig's back. It's actually coming handy enough now, so I don't know what state it's going to be in. You can share math now and see what sort of state it's in when it comes out. There's a new one there for it, but no, it's actually okay. That's good. That is good. Now the other little bio, again, I've been keeping them well soaked. That's why I put a mat down when I'm working on this, so you can let it all dribble down onto it. I presume the other one is your standard 1.5 inch, and it's even less, and that's worrying, because the smaller it is, the greater the chance of Jesus, that's turning easy as well. But that's not important, that's only just to hold the tab, but still, if we can get these out, we'll be able to get the new ones in. Though I probably have a tap that'll do that anyway, but still, it didn't look great when I started, I can tell you. No, the treads on that is the treads on it are A1 now, they ain't Kyle, no loss in them at all. So that's good, we're making a bit of headway. Front axle there, just pulled it forward, it fell off the jack, but I have these rubber lads down, so we can get off our circlip now, and should be able to push that pin out then straight through. So I might have to just reposition this axle, but if I can get the pin out, it'll make it a lot lighter. That's the lad we have to get off. See, is there a hole in it there? There is. And this side here, there is. Okay, so hopefully this will come off handy enough. It's moving already there anyway, that's good. Ah yeah, we'll get it. Let's get a bigger screwdriver. There we go. One circlip bent. No, slightly bent, not too bad. New one there anyway. And then it should be a matter then, we'll see, since I have all the locating bolts out of it. That sounds fairly solid, so we'll take another little look at that. But anyway, that's all I'm going to do now. I'm going to take a break for a while. As far as we've got now, I take off the water pump as well. All of the nuts and bolts are out of the timing cover, but I have to get a lend of a 40mm socket. This front axle centre pin is not moving. I've tried a good bit of persuasion with the heaviest hammer in the house, so I think it's going to be a matter of a hydraulic press. So I might bring that down to the machine shop and get them to press it out so we can get the new one in. So the pulley, crank pulley bolt is after, I managed to remove it there with a 41mm impact socket there. I got it lended off a neighbour. So the next thing is just put a bit of timber in behind that pulley and a bit of a bar and try and pull it off. There's a bit of oil leaking out through it there, so that can happen sometimes. So when I'm putting it back on, I might use a bit of the Indian head on it just to keep that dry. Loose there now. Didn't take much pressure at all. So I'll get that off, get the timing cover off. It's ready to pull off there. And I'm still struggling with this centre pin. I'm going to try and bring this whole front axle to hydraulic press, but I was talking to him, even he is a little bit dubious, we'll say now, whether it's going to push it out. If it can push it out, I'm going to try and fit a bushing in the back there, because the front one seems to be good, and the pin, of course, because it's so rusted in, is hardly going to go moving around in the axle. So that is actually not too, it's not a bad complaint, I suppose, if you can doctor in a bushing in there. So it might be a bit of pricking around to get it fitted. In here looks good and snug as well, and I was watching that when I was shaking the axle around. I could see there was very little wear in there, and it seems to be on these axles that it's the back bushing that's gets worn, and there's no bushing left in there at all. So worst case scenario, I'll get a new bushing doctored into the back, stiffen it all up. But I'm not going to go down without a fight, so I would like to take out these two legs here, the L-shaped legs. So I'm working on getting them bolts out. I get new bolts in, then I do get them out, and I'll be able to give everything a good clean down, and that'll be ideal. It would make that a lot less heavy as well, a lot lighter to bring to the machine shop. So that's what things look like in here. Gears, timing gears, camshaft, diesel pump. God, they're a really well made engine. Very, very well engineered, and it's nice to see there's no chain. It's all gears, like the Fords and Major actually. So yeah, the crank pulley is fairly worn there where the seal was rubbing at it for a long time. So I might have to look at fitting the seal a little into a way that it's just going to rub on a different part of the pulley. It's not too badly worn actually. So just take a look at the seal. Yeah, it's very hard. It's actually like plastic. That's why it's not leaking. It's not sealing. It's actually solid. Not so bad. So after bringing it to the hydraulic press there now, and it's after pushing out the pin, so it should be handy enough now. Putting this back together. I'm making a niche. I'll give it a bit of an out clean up first, and then I'll get the bushings, new bushings tapped into the cradle, fit that, and then we can put in the cross beam then. And I'm first going to clean it down and give it a rust primer. So the axles and all the bits there are after getting cleaned down with wire brush and the angle grinder. Now I've got to tap out the old seal, so I go through my box of outer races of bearings there, and I find they're the handiest, and tap that out. Now maybe this has to go the other way. I thought they were meant to come out. I might look at a video. No, it does come out that way. Yeah, it is coming out. That's okay. What we need to do is we need to put a bit of timber under each side. Lift it a bit. That's all. Learning, going along as usual. It's the first time doing it. 135 front crank pulley seal. So I'll go and open up the new seal and just have a look and see. It might give me a bit more of an idea how exactly this comes out. It actually came out with one tap when I actually put it on the timber, so there we go. It is GACO, it seems to be, GACO seal. So our other one will be going in with the spring, if there is a spring, yeah, there towards the aisle, so it'll be going in this way. So I imagine we will tap it in on the flat edge, spring or two. You can actually probably completely support that. Now we're putting it on the flat surface. Like that, but I'm not going to tap that in until I have this cleaned down, so I remove all the gasket, the old gasket off, and put it through the parts washer, wipe or dry, and then I'll tap in that when we're all cleaned up. Gasket surface on the timing cover on the engine side is cleaned up. Just have to get my degreaser wipes now and give it a final little clean, and the timing cover itself is in the parts washer dripping dry, so I'm going to wipe that dry and I'm going to start degreasing that as well. There now, just going to use my degreaser wipes just to get a bit of the old oil out of there. It's not going to do any harm, it's not really going to go anywhere, but hopefully now this won't have to come off for a long time, so I may as well just give it a quick wipe out. Final degreasing them with a fresh cloth, and that should be good. We'll start tapping in the new seal now. Bit of a hand there, so I have it all put back together, started, ran for a while, and it doesn't seem to be leaking at all, so I'm happy enough with that. Seal tapped in lovely, everything put back together, new gasket, Indian head around the gasket, and yeah, it should be good to go. So I will start it again in a few minutes. I just put a small bit of extra clean engine oil in there because I know it runs right down to the bottom, and that was just a better way of testing it as well. So don't want to leave it running too long, obviously, with a radiator, so I'm keeping an eye on the temperature. It's barely even warm, but still, we'll just keep it a little bit of a run for a few minutes every now and again while I'm putting back the axles and keep an eye on it. And the two new bushings, one in the back there and one in the front here, and I'm just going to trial fit the new pin, and we'll see how it all lines up and see if we're able to get the circlips onto it. Fitted the snap ring there on the front, you can just see it around the pin, and now I'm going to put the circlip around the back here, and that's what holds this in place around there. We've got our shims in, you can't really see them now to be honest with you, but they're in place, and that just gives a bit of end float to the cross beam, so we'll get that circlip on the back. Clip there in place. So this is good to go back on, and yeah, we gave it a start here a few times as well, and our crank seal seems to be dry, so that seems to be working. That's good news. So yeah, let's start putting this front axle back on now. It's basically rebuilt. Putting in the grub bolt there, and this axle now has gone from being wibbly wobbly wonder to needing quite a bit of strength to actually even be able to get it to move. So it's as tight now as can be, so I'm delighted with that. So I'm going to rust primer all this up now and let it dry then, and I'll put in there's a little retainer that goes around that. I'll put it in after I've painted. What I've left it so far is rust primered up the front axle there, pushed in the two stub axles. I'm going to paint that grey, and then I'm going to put in the new bolts through those holes. Got the water pump back on, dynamo back on, fan belt back on, and the plan is to leave the radiator until I get the whole lot painted and dry, and then it's gone from being very worn to lovely and snug now. It takes a bit of pressure to even get it to move, so it should be good and tight on the road. So that's where we're going to leave it for this video. I'll come back tomorrow, and I'll record hopefully anything else I do to get this back in one piece, and I look forward to seeing how it's like driving. So we'll leave it there for this evening.